Good morning, everyone. My name is Annie Pease, and I am Senior Advisor on Transportation for Cuyahoga County. Welcome to this morning's webinar on promoting your Bike with a Mayor events. As Senior Advisor on Transportation, I work in the County Executive's Office to advance a vision for transportation and mobility that increases safe access to all people to the region's rich assets while prioritizing health throughout our transportation system. I work closely with various county agencies on transportation initiatives, including the Regional Shared Mobility Program for shared e-scooters and e-bikes with the Office of Sustainability, the Livable Cuyahoga Initiative with the Division of Senior and Adult Services, the Cuyahoga Greenways with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, the revitalization of the lower level of the Veterans Memorial Bridge, and a new loan program through our Department of Development to support transit-oriented development in Cuyahoga County. Through this work, Cuyahoga County is supporting a safer, a healthier, and a more accessible county for all people. We appreciate many of your partnership in this work. On today's webinar, we're focused on the Cuyahoga Greenways and advancing more awareness and engagement in trails and bikeways and connectivity through promoting Bike with a Mayor events. On today's webinar, we're joined by Elaine Price from the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission and Amanda Harnotz with Cuyahoga County's Office of Communications. I'm going to turn it over to Elaine to begin the bulk of the presentation. And to our attendees, please use the Q&A box on the lower part of your screen to engage with the information on today's webinar. We'll be keeping an eye on that and monitoring questions that come in through the Q&A. If there are clarifying questions during the presentation, feel free to drop them in then. We'll be on for about 45 minutes this morning, and we will have time following Elaine and Amanda's presentations to moderate the questions that come in through the Q&A. So please drop them into that box while they're fresh on your mind. Thank you again for attending. And with that, I'll turn it over to Elaine.
Thanks, Annie, and good morning, everyone. Go ahead, Amanda, next slide. I know a lot of you. I'm Elaine Price with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. I lead trails and bikeways and other things that have to do with green space and nature. Thanks for joining us. As many of you know, in 2019, we developed a countywide trail and bikeway plan. It's been 5 years, so we are in the process of updating that plan, and all communities have been contacted to provide updates. So if your community has not yet gotten your updates in, we'd really like for you to get those in. We kicked off this program called Bike with a Mayor, which we have now expanded to also be Hike with a Mayor and Bike or Hike with a Leader. A couple of years ago, this is our 3rd season. And by the time we finish this season, we will have had about 20 communities participate, over 1,000 participants, and over 50 elected officials. And again, the purpose of these events are to get people with their elected leaders out into the spaces that either have a new trail or bike facility that's now ready to be tried out, or a space where that community wants to put a trail or a bike facility. And some of our communities are even using these Bike or Hike with a Mayor events to promote other things that are going on in their communities, like installation of solar panels or a new development of apartment buildings or condos. So it's lots of things that can be used or featured when you're doing a Bike or Hike with a Mayor. These are successful when they're very successfully promoted. So I'm really thrilled that our communications department has stepped up to help create tools and to then share how to use those tools. So Amanda and I are going to walk through this. Welcome, Amanda. Amanda is a senior communications specialist for the county, and we're going to do a little dialogue. And Amanda's going to teach us some stuff on how to promote this. Amanda, you're muted.
Sorry, I didn't realize I had to unmute myself. As a communication specialist, I'm always just talking, right? Um,
So Amanda, when people have decided they're going to do one of these events and they've scheduled it, what should they start doing then?
sure. And I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for everybody who came here and is enthusiastic about doing what's in the toolkit, everything that we're going to share today, because it makes my job that much easier. So thank you for your participation in this and in future posts. So the very first thing that needs to be done is that you should create a landing page on your website, and that's going to have your event details and registration information. I know Elaine has more guidance on something like this.
Well, right away. So what you're also going to be doing is you're going to be letting us at County Planning know about your event. We will put your event on our Cuyahoga Greenways webpage, but we need some place to link it to. So it's really important that your community creates a landing page for this event. It's also important that people can easily find it from your community's homepage. So that's been an issue. They've been had great landing pages, but people couldn't necessarily find them. So if your community has an event calendar, a lot of people will go to your event calendar, make sure that your calendar has your event on it and it links to your event page. If you don't have something directly on your community's homepage. Those are a couple lessons learned over the last couple years.
And the link will be great to use in your social media posts that we're going to share about in a little bit. And it's also great for call to action in your newsletter and to send to the press. And speaking of the press, we in this toolkit have provided a press release that you can fill in the blanks to send out to your local media and community calendars. And I know Elaine has some really good suggestions of who to send this to.
So I think most of you probably know some of the reporters from the Sun papers who cover your area. That's a really good place to get your event in. What you have to be cognizant of are their deadlines and the fact that they only come out once a week. So you don't want it in there too soon because people forget about it, but you don't want it in there at the last minute that somebody gets the newspaper on a Friday, but they don't actually read through it until Monday and they've missed your event for the weekend. Um, Other communities have local papers. The Heights area has the Heights Observer. The Chagrin Falls area has Currents. So check and see what are the other local publications that come out in your community, and then just be cognizant of how frequently they come out and what their deadlines are.
So, and we'll get into it later in the slideshow, and you'll be able to see all of these assets in the toolkit, but you'll want to add it to your own digital newsletter if you have one too, with a call to action, maybe to the link that we suggested in the very first bullet point. Another preparation thing that is great to do is if you've had past events and you have photos from that or short video clips, like around a minute to 2 minutes, or even some stock imagery, including the graphics that I've pre-made for you that you can curate to make your own. I would just make sure those are all in one space that you can access it. And then if you all are familiar with Canva, it's a wonderful free tool. And all of the graphics that I've made for you, all the assets that are available in the toolkit can be uploaded there and changed to be customized for your communities. So you can change the time, the date, and everything like that. And then another really great thing to think about ahead of time is what are the other social accounts or ways that you can get this information out to people. So is your fire department very active on social media? Are there people in your community who often share content from your community or your organizations there? Another good tip that Elaine will expound on is that local sponsors, if you partner with like a pizza shop or an ice cream parlor for your event, they are usually very happy to also post about your bike with a mayor.
Right. So a couple of good points there. Let's talk a little more about Canva. Elaborate on that. Many of you, like myself, I don't necessarily have editing software for some of these types of files. But Canva is a free software application. You go out, get it, download it, and then, Amanda, I'm guessing that there are some YouTube videos that can show people how to use it and how to edit with it.
Sure, but Canva is actually like just a really good free web tool. So you just go to canva.com, you can create a free account, and it will walk you through the process of creating graphics. It's probably the most useful and widely used tool that people in communications use. Um, and yes, there will be examples built into it for you. There's instructions on it. And yes, obviously lots of YouTube videos, but I would say it's the easiest way to update or create your own graphics.
Great. Now, one of the things when we were putting this together, I found really interesting is the use of influencers. Certainly a phrase that has entered our lexicon in the last couple of years. Um, Give another example of some folks who might be influencers, and what are the do's and what are the don'ts about engaging influencers?
So influencers, like I said, are the people who are just very active in this digital space regarding your community. And so you might have a bike it group, and that's included on the toolkit too, some suggestions of bike enthusiasts to tag on social posts. But just finding that person, everyone has, the unofficial mayor of a city who is a great person to get to share this content as well. So you can tag them, and we'll get into that too. You can tag them in posts or even share content with them and information with them and ask them to post it and promote it themselves.
If a person in a community is one of those negative persons who's always complaining about what's going on in the city, do we want to avoid that person?
It's never great to just completely avoid someone. I think the best approach, and it works well for just civic and government work, is that you include them, right?
Okay,
I would always include them, encourage them to join and be part of a really great thing in your community.
that's great. I think we've covered pretty much everything. I like the idea of if you have an active police department, fire department, planning department, recreation department, um, first of all, make sure they know about the event, but then also engage them and tag them and have them amplify your posts because a lot of different types of people will be following those different groups. And then quotes from the leaders are great. Short ones are best.
Yes, short ones are best. And it's good to gather. This is another one of those things. Gather this ahead of time because you may be thinking about what to post in your newsletter or on social media. And it's great to have them ahead of time because you can copy and paste those and put them in a social post. So I was referencing the toolkit, and this is one of the examples of the things that we have in the toolkit for you. So everything that's in red, you could just go in through Word and you can customize it for your city.
Great. Okay. What's next? So
So we're
go
we're
ahead.
gonna yeah, we're gonna talk about what's happening before the event. And I think one of the things we've discussed the most in preparing this for you is that a common question is, how soon should I start promoting things? And how often? So I would say as soon as you decide to have your event and you have your website link ready, that is the perfect time to start promoting. There is this rule in marketing and communication that it takes about 3 touch points with a person for them to take action on something that they see. Once you get that in your head, you'll realize that you do it yourself. You'll get served an ad 3 times, and then maybe that's when you're finally purchasing that new bike helmet. Um, but you should start posting, like I said, immediately. And then you can sit down and through, Meta Business Suite, you can start scheduling content out. And that's why the toolkit that we're providing you is so wonderful because you can just sit down and plan posts for the next 3 weeks leading up to the event, 3 weeks prior, and you can kind of set it and forget it. I hate I'm using that cliche, but I grew up watching that on TV. Anyway, you'll be able to promote this, and you can do it all within about like half an hour and an hour. And you will want to post probably at least 3 times more before the event actually happens. The graphic that you see on the screen is something that I created that you can curate yourself through Canva. It's in the toolkit for you to download, and you can change out the image that's behind it. You can change the text. Obviously, you will want to update the location and your day and month and time. You could add your own logo to it if you want to throw your city's logo on there. You can customize this how you want. And this, again, we're talking about gathering things ahead of time. You'll want things like quotes from the mayor to promote it. So you also have to include text on your social post when you post the graphic. So that's why it's good to have those quotes ahead of time. You can do things like, if you're stuck and you're like, I don't know what more to say, like I said, you can keep saying very similar things, just promoting the event, but then change it up a little bit and say, we're only a week away. That is a good call to action that kind of gives it a slight sense of urgency, because it won't be ignored then. It won't be like, oh, I have time to think about this or see this again, and I'll remember to do it later. If you know this is days away, that will force people to participate and engage in that post and maybe add it to their calendar. Tagging is also very important, and one of the reasons I'm so thankful for your participation in this, because if you tag Cuyahoga County, I am the person who gets that tag, that notification, and I can reshare your content, and we're happy to. We are happy to share any kind of great events like this throughout Cuyahoga County. And so if you want to tag county planning, I know someone in Elaine's department, and at my department, we will definitely cross promote and amplify the content that you're doing. We're happy to share with people that, anyone from any community in Cuyahoga County can come and visit your event.
So Amanda, again, for those of us who are less savvy on social media, walk us again through the difference between handles, tags, and hashtags.
So tagging is the @ symbol, and then you are letting Cuyahoga County know that they are involved in a post. I'll get a notification. So if you want to tag something, that's like tagging a person. It's like giving them a little poke or nudge on social media. It's like calling them and saying, hey, are you interested? We want you to be part of this. A hashtag is more like a search engine tool. So it gathers everyone using, when you click on a hashtag, you'll see a feed of everyone using that same hashtag.
Great. And another group that's really important to tag is Bike Cleveland, at Bike Cleveland, because they also have a huge following and they can then amplify and repost your posts as well.
Yes, thank you. And in the toolkit, on the file that has all of the suggested, I wrote probably 8 different versions so that you can just copy and paste and curate to make your own. There is also a list of places handles we'd recommend tagging in your posts. And just in case I included, oh no.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, there
I
you
don't know
go.
if it just went dark in the room I'm in. Anyway,
Okay.
I've included a link to Meta Business Suite. That is usually how people are scheduling content. And so that link, it has really great instructions on how to use it, just in case you're not familiar with these platforms.
Okay, excellent stuff. So now it's the day of the event.
Just a quick visual too of an example of some of the posts that I have written for you that you can change up.
And again, like Amanda said, these are all in the toolkit. So like you can just download these. Most of these are in Microsoft Word. Just edit them that way. So
Yes.
for most of you who run these events, very wisely, you tell the public that the event starts at a certain time, but your actual bike ride or hike leaves like 30 minutes later. That gives you 30 minutes for people to gather, to sign waivers, to do safety checks and things like that. So that's a really good time to start to get some photos, to start to get some quotes, and to also let the participants know that you are going to be doing some social media during the event when it's safe, and suggest that they also amplify, let them know what tags and handles you're going to be using. So, what else, Amanda, do we want folks to do during the event?
I'm glad you brought up safety because all
Mhm.
of the things that I'm suggesting obviously should only be done safely. And the reason the first slide had so much preparedness built into it is so that it does make it easier during the ride. I know that you're moving around and that riding a bike and posting to social media is not the best combination. But when you have time to stop and if you have things already prepared and saved on your phone, this will make this whole process much easier. These are also just suggestions. I mean, I would talk to your organization, see what they're prepared to do ahead of time. Do you want to go live on your bike ride? Do you want to post something live, a video, a stream saying we're here, we're getting ready to go, check for updates later? That's up to you. But definitely gather shots, photos, and video while it's happening. A lot of times in these events, you end up with a picture of the back of a lot of people. So I would recommend to try and be mindful that whenever you get a chance to stop, can you turn that light on? Thank you. Whenever you get a chance to stop, that you grab photos and videos of your mayor and all the participants from the front. And also try and get some shots without helmets on. I know that's another thing that comes up after the event. They're like, oh, we'd love to reuse these pictures, but we're all standing around in our helmets and a little difficult to see and recognize us. So get a few with and without helmets. Um,
Right. I was just going to say that, think about how your mayor and your leaders would like to use these photos throughout the year. So it's great to get them for the event, but like Amanda said, some helmet on, helmet off, um, mayor and city council with large groups of people, small groups of people, so that these photos can be used for other purposes throughout the year.
And reposting content from attendees. This kind of leans into the influencer thing. I would recommend telling everyone before you start your ride, hey, we are on social media. We posted about this. You likely heard about this on social media. We're happy to repost your content. The same thing that I was saying earlier, like it's going to make your job easier if other people are posting and you can just share it. So encourage them to tag your accounts and let them know ahead of time, hey, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Instagram, wherever you may be. I would also say don't panic too much about like all the things you have to post during the event. Something as simple as look who's riding with us and tagging them and let's roll. And using hashtags for Bike with the Mayor is simple and efficient. People are going to interact with those posts because of the images. But if you, again, a preparedness thing is a lot of times when, if you follow the county, you'll see live tweets and Instagram posts from the county. I'm pre-writing those before I go to the event. So familiarize yourself with what you want to say. And if you just save them on your phone somewhere, it makes your life so much easier when you get to just copy and paste things.
That's great. Go
So
ahead.
I think a lot of times what happens too, and I could be guilty of it as well, I have to remind myself, an event is not over because it ended in real time. In the social media non-linear space, you should follow up with thank you posts and pictures after the event. Right, you want to encourage people to come to other events and to interact with your account. And so I created a thank you graphic for you to use. Again, this is customizable. If you want to upload it to Canva and add your logo or change colors or anything like that, you can. You could even create your own graphics. But posting a short thank you video or a thank you post and tagging everybody who was involved, especially people like the pizza shop that was kind enough to join you in that. You could even afterwards, I know you have a short amount of time with the writers, but maybe get a few reactions or quotes from people who participated in the event and use it to promote the next event or as a thank you post. Again, reiterating the Bike with the Mayor hashtag, it's like a search function. So if another community, there are several in the county who are going to be promoting these. And if they start promoting Bike with the Mayor and people click on that hashtag, they'll also see what you guys just did in your community. So it's really great for other cities to see your participation too. The hashtag that the county uses, if you'd like to include it, and we'd love for that, is We Are Cuyahoga.
So it's great. I love the idea of the thank you. A couple other things to think about. Again, your own newsletter comes out on a regular basis. You can please put in photos and a short write-up of, look what we did. It was so much fun type thing. And then again, the same thing with your local papers. They're always looking for stories, and it's not upcoming, but it is about, look what we did in Fairview Park. A bunch, look how many people got together to go on a ride with the city council people and the mayor. So kind of a post-event press release, shorter, simpler. But the photos, I think that the media people are constantly looking for content. And then also we're kind of focusing on Bike with a Mayor, but we have updated and created additional graphics that say Hike with a Mayor that are available as well. So those of you who are doing walks with your mayor will be able to use those as well.
My recommendation too is when you get a moment after this is over and you can sit down, put all of your assets, label it, Bike with the Mayor 2025, because this will all come full circle again when you start over on the first slide. And when we say like use past photos, you'll have a great place to find content that you gathered a year before or however many days before the next event.
Okay, what if the weather's bad?
Right. So this, hopefully you don't ever have to reference this slide. That would be great, but we all know what weather's like in Cuyahoga County. So I think the most important thing to keep in mind with this is setting a deadline. If the weather is iffy, set a deadline for when people to expect an update from you about calling it. Communicating to them that there's a rain date. And I know Elaine has some suggestions of like even posting this on your landing page on your website. But set a date so that people can expect to know when to hear if the things are changing.
You typically do a couple things. On your event page, create a space that says watch here for updates and changes, and then make sure that you put something in that. You can also tell people to follow you on Facebook for updates and changes, but you do want to say to people if the weather looks bad or if there's something else, we will make a call to either confirm or to reschedule 24 hours ahead of time. You typically want to give yourself 24 hours. When we do the Celebrate Trails event, which is in April, where the weather prediction is even more difficult, that ride always starts at 1 p.m. And we have a team who gets together by text by 9 a.m. and we make the call, whether it's going to be a go or a no-go. That works for that event. It's cutting it close though. So we really recommend 24 hours in advance, but that you create a place on your event page so that people can know I can go there and I will either get a thumbs up or thumbs down or reschedule. But then we also do recommend that you also post via social media. Weather is the number one reason for rescheduling, but we actually have had some that have been extensive construction in an area that didn't quite get done as soon as folks thought. So those could be other reasons. But Amanda's done a great job of kind of creating the wording that you can use so it's already ready to go. That's great.
Yes. Yeah. The example on your screen is part of the toolkit. So you'll be able to go in there and copy and paste and change what you need to.
Great. So we keep
So,
referring to the toolkit. Walk them through what we have.
right, we keep referring to the toolkit. I wanted to make sure. So the link that you see, click here to view the toolkit. You can go there and you'll find all the assets that we keep talking about today. So we included our own photos of past events that you can feel free to use. The press release template is in there. You will find all of the graphics that I mentioned in this. So the participation one with the date and location, the thank you, those are all in there. They can be used as, you can print them out, you can put them in newsletters. The thank you graphic is also included. Again, completely, you can curate it to your liking. The toolkit also has several social media posts, suggestions to post before, during, and after, and one for inclement weather. And then within that is also suggested tags and hashtags to use on social media. All of the bike with a mayor, like the one that's shown on the screen, the Cuyahoga Greenways bike with a mayor, that graphic is also included if you wanted to add it to your own. And then this, of course, this presentation, if you'd like to reference it again, is included in the toolkit.
And we will send this out to everyone who registered for this call. And as a reference, if you go to the Cuyahoga Greenways webpage, which is managed by Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, right on that, you scroll down a bit, there's a whole box on Bike with a Mayor. And right underneath that are 2 links for training resources. This most recent one is called Tools and Tips for Hosting and Promoting a Bike with a Mayor events. And when you click on that, it'll take you to some folders. The one is called the communications folder, and everything that Amanda just listed is there. So that kind of brings us, there's our contact information. We'll leave this up for a while, but you can see how to reach me, Amanda, and Annie. And Annie, do we have any questions in the chat?
Thank you so much, Elaine, and thank you so much, Amanda. That is really excellent to hear such specialized information about promoting an event and how to reach different audiences. In my experience with Bike with a Mayor, we have a variety of different leads, and just people with different backgrounds are involved in pulling together the events and thinking about the route, thinking about safety, thinking about who needs to be there, who should be there. And this communication piece can often feel maybe like a little extra, or like you got to do all this other stuff. And boy, it will be nice if people come, but it's a lot just to like get the event done. So this toolkit is really out there to help make sure that the effort that goes into putting on an event like this, that is so engaging and has the opportunity to share information with people in a very powerful way, where they're out there visually seeing it and hearing from people often who are involved in that work, is really an essential part, I would argue, of pulling off an event like this and having it be successful.
I
So
hope that people can see this as a guide for all kinds of events. This is basically the playbook that I use on the county side for anything. So, I mean, if you want to take Bike with the Mayor out of this and use it for other things, I just hope it's helpful as a guidebook for a lot of promotion for things in your communities. And please, like I said, contact me, let me know. We love amplifying things that are happening around Cuyahoga County, and you make my job so much easier.
Hey, I do see a question in the chat. It's from Paige. She asked, is Meta Business Suite free to use? And what's it
Yes.
like?
Yes, it's built into Facebook. So when you go to your community's enterprise account, that is, and you can click on it within this toolkit and it will give you every explanation you need. They're really good about, because they want participation on these platforms. So yes, it's free, it's included. It's just the name of the program that manages your enterprise accounts on social media.
Great. Anybody else? Okay.
the question, so we have about 10 minutes left. So if there are additional questions, please drop those into the Q&A box. Elaine, we've developed this toolkit now, and this is to help people get the word out about an event. But leading up to that point, there
Mhm.
are a lot of other considerations for pulling
Right.
off a Bike with a Mayor event. You've touched on these throughout today's webinar in different capacities, but in a similar way where we've packaged the information together for communicating the event. Could you talk about what
Sure.
resources are easily accessible and where people can find them for those interested? Maybe there are people who have never done a Bike with a Mayor event in
Right.
today's audience. What do those resources look? What are they, and where can
Sure.
people find them?
And I'll start describing them. Annie, if you make me a co-host, I can actually share my screen and I'll show people where they are. But again, yes, we put together a whole how to do a Bike with a Mayor or Hike with a Mayor event. And it the links for that do reside on our county planning website. So you should be able to see that now. So actually, if you go to get my mouse over here, if you start out on our county planning website, you go to the Cuyahoga Greenways page. If it's not right on the landing page, you just come over to projects. You can always find it under environmental. And you click on Cuyahoga Greenways. This is the landing page for Cuyahoga Greenways. And the first thing that you see after a basic explanation is the Bike with a Mayor, Hike with a Mayor schedule. And then underneath that are our resources. So the ones that Amanda has been going through today are called the tools and tips for hosting and promoting Bike with a Mayor. And what we also did is over a year ago, we did a roughly 1 hour webinar like this, going through all of the tools and tips, and we recorded that. So you can watch this 1 hour video and it teaches you how to set up an event. What you find when you go to these resources are, it's a Dropbox. And so this folder here has the last 3 years worth of photos. The communications toolkit is what Amanda just went over, and the training resources are a number of things. So there is a folder for logos. There is this item called Read Me First, which walks you through everything else that is included in here. And throughout the summer, I'm going to be updating that to also include Hike with a Mayor. We have an Excel spreadsheet that has checklists of all the different things that you need to do. Create your route, notify your police department, identify where you're going to start and end, criteria for that, types of photos to take. We have this also in a PDF format that came from Bike Cleveland. There is the PowerPoint from the training presentation. So if you want to just flip through the PowerPoint as opposed to sitting through the hour training, there is the short video from the League of American Bicyclists that you use as a safety video. There's a sample waiver. This is, again, the press release that Amanda spoke about and some other social media tips. So you have the how to do a Bike with a Mayor or Hike with a Mayor, and then you also have the communications toolkit, which we've added this year, that goes over everything that Amanda just listed. So we're definitely getting there to help create the ways in which you can pull off of these events. And like Amanda said, they are I can't find how to stop my sharing my screen. They are they work for anything. You don't have to be doing a bike or a hike with a Mayor event. Any event that you're doing in your community, Amanda has given us a recipe on how to promote it. So that's been great.
Thank you, Elaine. Great. We have another question. Katie is asking, our bike shop had recently closed, and I always like to get other biking organizations to have a table afterwards that our attendees can stop and talk to. I've had trouble getting participation from bigger biking communities like Belisano or bike shops in neighboring towns or Slow Roll. Do you have any suggestions on who to reach out to?
That's a good one. Again, I would reach out to Bike Cleveland and to Slow Roll. It's always good to reach out to those two organizations well in advance of your event, the organization Slow Roll has dozens and dozens of volunteers. They can help you run your event. However, because so many communities are doing these events, they are getting spread thin. But they can also refer you to other persons and or other bicycle shops or sporting goods shops that might carry bike related stuff and therefore have bike related clientele. So those are the two main ones that I can think of. Don't underestimate uh, Dick's Sporting Goods, Target, or any place that sells bicycles. You might find someone of interest who would also like to have a table. And we talked a little before about sponsors, and some communities have gotten a pizza shop to provide pizza. Others have gotten donated ice cream bars. Others have gotten donated beverages, and some have actually gotten donated bike helmets or bike caps. So particularly if those folks are in your community, thinking of them as a partner, not just as a donor, is really important to get that kind of co-promotion.
Thank you, Elaine. An easy question from Jerry. Will this be available as a video later to refresh and rewatch? Yes, we are recording and we will include this video in the toolkit. So the same link that Elaine just walked through and that will be shared. We will post this video for rewatching later, or please keep it in mind if you know others who either from your communities or other groups who aren't able to attend live today. We do have a great live audience, but if there are others you'd like to share it with, please feel free to share that recording and information about the toolkit. A question from Irene. Elaine, do you suggest using the waiver for all bike, hike, walk related events? Is there ever a time a waiver would be unnecessary?
That's a really good question. And I have to give you the answer that I have to give you. We strongly recommend it. I would check with your community's legal support, your legal department. It's not so much that we at the county, we don't require it. No community has required it. I have participated in events where the community did not require it. But the one component that we built into the waiver is not just the waiver against injury, but it's also the use of the photos. And so if you're taking pictures of people and then you're going to use them, it's really to your advantage to have a physical or digitally signed document where people check the box that said, yes, you can use my image. So, and we haven't had, we had one minor injury once where someone scraped their elbow. Carrying a first aid kit is important. That's in the, but the bigger reason, the equally important reason for the waiver is for the use of the images, particularly with kids.
Thank you, Elaine. All right, and there's a question from Lindsay. Our internet is not working well. Will you be emailing out the toolkit?
Yes, we will. We have the email addresses for everyone who registered for this. Annie and I will compile a little message, and then we'll get all the links in that message. It takes about 24 hours to get the video to compile and to get out in the cloud. So we'll shoot for the end of the week. If not early next week, we'll send out a message with links to all of these items.
Great. With that, we don't have any additional questions in the Q&A box. We really appreciate everyone joining for today's webinar. I'd like to especially thank both presenters, Elaine and Amanda, for taking time and creating this information. To those in attendance, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our contact information is included in the toolkit. We look forward to hearing about your events and helping you get out the word to all of the interested audiences. Thank you again for attending, and we hope to see you out there on a ride soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.